Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk with the issues class. My name is Mike Kinney. I work at Milton Hershey School. I'm going on 20 years at the school. Been blessed enough. I had about 16 years before that with the Hershey Company, and was pretty excited when they asked me if I would speak with the issues class. And I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? And they said the Milton Hershey School. And I said, that'll be easy. I said, I'll use the full 2 hours and I'll inform everybody as much as I can. So, but it's a pleasure to sort of share the Hershey story. As most of you know, it's a one-of-a-kind place. We focus on serving low-income families. We provide a top-notch education, a nurturing environment, and we do all of that at no cost. This was Milton and Catherine Hershey's vision. Many people, it's been said that Mr. Hershey said it was Kitty's idea, but the two of them worked hard to establish the deed of trust and the school. And actually, Mr. Hershey was involved up till his death in 1945. So the school was founded in 1909. So we were blessed to have 36 years of personal guidance from Mr. Hershey himself. The mission of the school is to nurture and educate children in social and financial need to lead productive and fulfilling lives. So it's a fairly simple and straightforward mission. Okay, hold on a second. There we go. So while there's nothing replaces seeing the campus and visiting the campus live, I'm hoping this presentation will sort of give you an opportunity to better understand our campus and the programs that we offer the families and children here at the school. A little bit of history. I'll start with sort of a general overview of the campus and some history and how we got to where we are today. Let me get here. Get some, get the volume up here.
Loyal and true are we, to stand by thee and each other, and to ever be. Thy wrath only cherish, and thy traditions dear. Proudly we sing thy praises for all the world to hear. Then stand we firmly united through all the years to come. By friendships and fond memories of youth and school and home, we'll rock Milton Hershey and come to that great name. Lives filled with strength and honor to add to stars and fame.
It sort of gives you a flyover view of the beautiful campus that we have. Let me see, I've got something here on my screen I got to get rid of. Okay. How do I get back? There we go.
Milton Hershey School was founded by Mr. and Mrs. Hershey. After failing at a number of businesses.
Sorry about that, having a little bit of challenge here. Hopefully I'll come back to that. So Mr. and Mrs. Hershey, of course, started the school in 1909. This is a picture of the homestead where Mr. Hershey was actually born in 1857. The home is currently it's called the homestead, and it's currently the home of the president of the school. It's changed some over the last 112 years that the school's been in operation. It was actually the first home for the first students. And like I said, currently it is the home for the president of the school.
The most unique aspect about MHS is the fact that we are a residential school, meaning students will stay on campus for the school year when not home on breaks. Students don't live in dorms like you normally think of with a residential school. Instead, they live in student homes with married couples called house parents who supervise, nurture, and support them. And now, Alex is going to take you on a tour of his student home.
Hello, my name is Alex in the 5th grade at Milton Hershey School, and this is my new student home. Come on, let's go check it out. Welcome to Student Home Cairo, the first student home in the Legacy campus. This is Catherine Hershey at Milton Hershey. The reason the student home is called Cairo is because of one of the many places that Catherine Hershey and Milton Hershey visited to on their trip around the world. He will be someone high in power, like a pharaoh. Okay, this is the computer room. We have 4 computers. This is the dining room where we eat. This is the kitchen. This is the milk cooler that I cleaned this morning, because before you came, I wanted to be nice and neat. This is the mudroom of the Legacy houses. And here is my neat and tidy, beautiful loft. Going upstairs. Oh, hello. This is the long hallway where 6 other people will stay in there and sleep, including me. I like the texture of the white paint and this gray wall. I really like this lamp though. It has the wood design on it. This is the living room. What I like mainly because it's one place where I can actually sit on the couch and watch TV without other people interrupting me. These are selfies that people in our student home were supposed to take. I'm not that good at ping pong, or maybe started like a week or 2 ago. So. Yes, I like it here very much. You win. Well, Mr. Dirt technically didn't beat me because he only beat me by 1, and ping pong you need to beat him by 2. So our game is technically unfinished. There you go. Nice game.
Students stay in a student home until their senior year. During 12th grade, they live in a supervised apartment setting called transitional living. These are apartments where 4 to 5 students live and share the household responsibilities for the apartment. They have budgets to buy groceries, must keep their apartment clean, practice paying bills, do their own laundry, and learn to manage their time wisely. Part of gaining independent living skills is learning to drive. One of our unique graduation requirements is that students will earn their driver's license.
Milton Hershey School has many opportunities for students to learn, grow, and prepare for life. Most of our high school students participate in authentic work experiences, opportunities like job shadowing, internships, co-ops, part-time work experiences, and apprenticeships. These unique opportunities give students the chance to gain experience in a field they hope to pursue when they graduate from MHS. Approximately 85% of our students pursue post-secondary education after graduation. Our continuing education scholarships give our students the opportunity to accrue more than $95,000 to use towards college, university, trade, or technical school, or an approved apprenticeship program. We are broadening our students' horizons, literally as well as figuratively, whether it is studying global warming in Iceland, or trips to Peru, Ghana, Thailand, or Europe. Our students experience incredible adventures through our international travel. We offer a holistic approach to education at MHS. Our Compass project provides specific SEL and character development programming. We infuse our sacred values of commitment to mission, integrity, mutual respect, and positive spirit into all aspects of our students' experience.
Graduation is the culminating event for our students' journey here at Milton Hershey School. Staff and students attend along with the families of the graduates to celebrate this wonderful achievement. One of our greatest traditions is the senior ring ceremony. Each graduate receives a class ring, courtesy of the school. The style of that ring has not changed since 1952 and marks each student as a proud graduate of Milton Hershey School.
The most important relationship in most of our students' lives will always be their parents and relatives back home. House parents and staff are not here to replace families, but to partner with them to provide the best possible outcome for our children. Our families have extensive opportunities to stay involved with their students through weekend visitation, phone calls, emails, as well as our 6-week summer break and extended holiday breaks.
Milton Hershey School is an amazing place. It's got amazing staff and amazing kids and amazing opportunities.
And this place is to bring them into adulthood with more than what I can give them.
I'm Sarah Olson. I have 2 kids here at Milton Hershey. We are from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, which is about 5 hours away. So it was a big decision, and it makes it a little more difficult to take your child's life and put it in someone else's hand. But as long as you work to keep your hands in there, you're not giving anything up. You've just got extra help. The house parents are absolutely wonderful. I have been so blessed. I have really learned how to use them as a resource, talking as moms and dads to moms and dads.
I'm Daniel Gilliland, and I have 2 children in this home here at Olympia.
I want the parents to feel that they're a part of the education here at Milton Hershey School. We are not their parents, and we tell them we can never take the place of your parents. That's not the reason that we're here. We're here to partner with your parents and to help.
And so we kind of come in as a surrogate in that situation.
We have our we have their best interest in mind. We're a team.
A team.
And, we keep the girls going. And they love it here. They really do.
If you want to send your child here, it is a wonderful opportunity. It's hard, it's scary, but as long as you share and you work together with the school and their staff, you don't feel like you're missing much.
The admissions team supports families through the application process. Our admissions office is located in the center of campus. Here, applications are processed and admissions interviews are held for qualified and selected students. Milton Hershey School has minimum qualifications to be considered for enrollment. To be considered for enrollment, a child must meet the following 5 criteria. Come from a family of lower income. First and foremost, students need to meet our financial limitations to be considered. All of our students must come from households with income that does not exceed 200% of the federal poverty guidelines. Not all income is included in the calculation, and there are different considerations for non-parent custodial situations. We are happy to review individual circumstances as they arise. Be 4 to 15 years old at the time of enrollment. Students must be at least 4 and no older than 15 at the time of enrollment. Our application process can take several months, so students who are already 15 may not have adequate time to complete the process before their 16th birthday. Have the ability to learn. Students must have at least average academic abilities. For us, that means scoring the average range on an IQ test and be able to perform all or most of the day in a regular education classroom setting. Be free of serious behavioral problems that are likely to disrupt life in the classroom or student home life at Milton Hershey School. Milton Hershey School is a school, not a treatment facility. We look at behavior to ensure students are a good fit for our group living and academic settings. Be able to participate and benefit from the school's program. Each year, Milton Hershey School receives far more applications from potential students who meet these minimum qualifications for admission than the school can accept.
All right. So if anybody out there knows of a family or some children that the school can help, as you can tell, this presentation was sort of admissions driven, sort of to give you an overview. So once again, if you know somebody out there who can benefit from the school, I encourage you to send them our way. They can call or text that number, or they can just email our admissions office. But we're always, like I said, looking to help families and children in need. So that's sort of the formal presentation. I did have a PowerPoint with just pages and pages of text, but as I talked with our admissions folks and searched the campus for some information, I thought I'd let the people who are on the front line sort of tell you what's going on at the school. Now, actually, I'll do some question and answers now. I do have potentially some other presentations I can jump into, but at this point, why don't I just open it for any questions folks might have.
Mike, do students get reevaluated each school year? In other words, is it possible for somebody to come in, have a school year, and then not meet the, say, financial requirements that their family income went up or something like that, and won't be able to go to the next year? That kind of thing.
Yeah, once a student is admitted to the school, they are not going to, they'll never be required to leave for any financial reason. You could enter your children, get them in, and win the lottery. And if you wanted to leave the kids there, you know, they would be able to stay. In fact, I think one of the benefits of the Milton Hershey School is often that when the parent or sponsors don't have the responsibility of raising and watching and taking care of their kids, they can look at maybe getting an education or getting a skill or getting back into the workforce. So a lot of times, not only do we help the children, but we make it possible for their parents or sponsors to maybe, like I said, go back and increase their education or get a job. And it does happen if a family would get themselves in a financial situation where they can provide the opportunities and a safe, nurturing environment for the kids, they can withdraw the students. That's one unique thing about Milton Hershey School as well. The parents or sponsors can take their children out at any given time, which is why we have a family relations department. The goal of the family relations department is to build a strong cooperative, collaborative environment where it makes sense. So if a parent or sponsor has confidence that they're communicating, they know what's going on, they have a chance to see what their kids are doing, they're most likely going to encourage them to stay and do their best. You do have that occasional situation where a parent or sponsor will get themselves back to a safe, nurturing, ability to help with the kids, but the kids have bought into the program, are achieving great success at the school, and may even tell their parent or sponsor, I prefer to stay at the school and finish out the opportunities here.
Good. Bruce, did you have a question?
Mike, first of all, the school is blessed to have you there, that you do such a good job, and very proud of that. Second, what impact did COVID have on the school?
COVID had a pretty significant impact, but we were very well blessed. We, for example, when the first, when COVID first hit, it was going to be a 2-week interruption. Everybody said, "Oh, we're going to be interrupted here for 2 weeks." So a lot of our kids, at first we were sort of we were hoping they would all stay on campus, but a lot of them did choose to go home. So they had that opportunity pretty much the first 6 weeks to go home, and every single kid has their own computer. So when they went home, they took their computer with them, and if they didn't have access to Wi-Fi, they were able to take what we call a hotspot home with them. So every child was able to do the remote learning. So we had the kids home pretty much those first 6 weeks. We thought it was going to be 2, ended up being 6. We're sort of unique. We required all the kids to come back in June. So we said, you know, we want you back on campus. You're going to spend 2 weeks in your student home doing remote learning, and then you're going back into in-class learning. So we're sort of unique in the schools in the area that while we kept the kids very isolated, and once they were on campus, we didn't have the student homes commingling, staff. I mean, I've got kids that I work with and try to keep in touch with. Staff wasn't allowed to interact with the kids. It was a very safe, sort of cloistered environment at the school. But the kids were able to come back, do the in-class learning. On Easter, they got to go home for a couple weeks. When they came back, they had 2 weeks of the in-student home quarantine where they learned remotely. Then they went back to in-class. Christmas and Easter were the 2 vacations where they went home, they came back, they had 2 weeks of quarantine, and we were back in classes. One of the biggest impacts that I think was really challenging for our kids, but it's something that we just felt we had to do. We did not have sports in the fall, and then again in the spring. And we're sort of unique, I mean, especially when you think that the kids at Hershey and Lower Dolphin and Palmyra were going back into sports. But we're sort of unique. Our kids live in, with 10 to 12 other students. Or if you look at our transitional living, there could be 20 some in the transitional living student home. So we chose not to have sports. We followed the CDC and federal guidelines to the letter. In fact, we probably went even farther. We immediately put together a COVID team of professionals from across the campus with all the different perspectives, from security to food to healthcare, all those different areas, and put together the policies and guidelines. Every staff member, when I came in, I had to take my temperature every day. I had to fill out a form that said I did not have any symptoms or anything. We had all of our meetings were on Zoom. So you were not allowed to gather your team or groups of folks together. You had to do all your meetings on Zoom. So it had a pretty significant impact on the students and kids. But I think we were so well blessed because we had these extremely tight guidelines. We took all those extra precautions. We were blessed and had very few cases on campus. We're blessed. We have a health center right there on campus. So if a student or a staff member, if a student had it, they'd take care of them right there on campus. They also provided free testing for all the employees and their families. Like I said, we were just extremely blessed. It was scary when the kids went home for Christmas, and 1,900 kids went home. 1,900 kids came back. We had no idea what to expect. We had a great process in place when the kids came back in. They got tested, dropped off, went to their student homes, were quarantined for 2 weeks. And Bruce can probably identify with this. You didn't want to be the kid in the student home that after a week into quarantine, all of a sudden showed some signs, because then your whole student home started over again for 2 weeks of quarantine. So, but it was really rare when you consider we had about 2,000 students and about 1,800 staff and contract employees. We had people doing renovations all over campus, building different buildings, et cetera. And I said, I don't think at any given time, between all the contractors, all the staff, and all the students, we had more than, I think at one time it reached its peak almost 24, but for the most of the time it was single digit or lower. Long answer to a short question.
That's great answer.
Something I always wondered, Mike, coming off of 322 to church and going around the school there, see a lot of I don't want to say a lot, but a handful of adults always running or walking. Or those walking paths look really nice. Is that open to the public, or is that just for the school?
It is actually the walking paths around campus and the roadways are open to the public. right now the campus is closed, and actually throughout the year and on an ongoing basis, the buildings are all up. You know, they're all private, and folks are not encouraged, unless you're there for business, to go to one of the buildings. But the walking paths and the bike paths and everything, they are open to the public. One area called Alumni Grove, which is right out in front of Founders Hall, beautiful facility. You see a lot of folks taking photos and starting their walks at that area. That is an area that you're required to request an appointment. It's free, but we'll give you a 2-hour appointment if you want to schedule a photo shoot. A lot of folks don't realize we are a private school, and our campus is private property. So we do welcome folks. A lot of folks, I think, assume or think that the front of Founders Hall is a public park. We've had everything from impromptu weddings, impromptu lemonade stands. A lot of folks, like I said, I think if you don't know, you just sort of, because it's so free, you see people walking their dogs and riding their bikes through campus. I think a lot of folks think that it's an open public place, and it is actually a private campus, but we welcome folks that want to walk their dogs, walk through, schedule a photo session, because it is a beautiful campus.
Yes, thank you. Anybody else?
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
This is Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
What are the dreams you're dreaming right now?
The dreams as a school?
Yeah.
I think one of the most exciting things that we're doing, we announced the start of the Milton Hershey Schools. And so for 112 years, we've been, helping kids as young as 4, through graduation from high school. We're now focusing, we're so blessed with our trust, the Hershey Company, Hershey Entertainment Resorts, the MS Hershey Foundation, all of our different partners generate enough income that we can take care of what it's going to be 2,300 kids here in the future. But we have enough resources to go beyond that. Mr. and Mrs. Hershey's vision was to help as many children as the resources allow. So the board spent about 2 years or more looking at, okay, we're blessed with these resources. The trust is growing. We're supposed to help as many kids as we can. The current program at the Milton Hershey School campus as we are now, the board and a lot of our professionals have decided that basically 2,300 is about as big as we want to get to be able to provide the quality and nurturing experience that we can to the kids that are there now. So they look, what's the next step? We've got these resources. We want to help more kids. Probably had 10 or 15 really solid ideas to follow up on, but it became fairly clear as we moved through those that there's a need for birth through 5-year-old education to get kids ready for school, to get kids ready to go into kindergarten or go into first grade. And especially kids in poverty, they weren't in many cases getting the resources, the food, the nutrition, the exposure to learning, a lot of those things that get you ready to go into kindergarten or preschool. So it was decided the next step would be to help families and children birth through 5 to basically learn those basic parenting skills, to get the nutrition that they need, to get the daycare so the mom or dad or parent or sponsor can go out and get employment and help support themselves. So there's a real focus. We're going to have 6 of these centers. The school has committed $350 million over the next 10 years to build 6 schools, these Milton Hershey schools for early learning. The first one will be in Hershey, sort of across 322 from Hershey High School, catty corner from Founders Park. That area there will host the first one. The second one will be in Harrisburg. And then there'll be 4 more across the state. Those locations have not been firmed up yet. Each of those will serve 150 children. So over the course of the next 10 years, by the time these are done, we should have about another 900 children that the school is helping. And like I said, we've identified with a lot of research and a lot of input from experts in education that this is a need to really get these birth to 5-year-old kids and families ready for future education. We'll have about 20 employees in our main office. There'll be a main Catherine Hershey School office with about 20 staff. And I believe, I'm going off the top of my head, I believe each of the centers will employ about 150 to 200 people as well. So it's an exciting time. It's sort of an expansion of Milton and Catherine Hershey's vision of helping children and families in need. And like I said, it's a really exciting time at the school. So that's probably our largest dream and vision. We're also working on making sure that when the kids leave here, they have some real life work experience in the field or career technical area that they're pursuing. So every kid that graduates from Milton Hershey School has gone through our career and tech educational program. We have 12 different targeted areas. Every kid graduates from Milton Hershey School with at least one, and most have 3 or more nationally recognized accreditations and certificates in these career fields. And like I said, our goal is to make sure they all have some real life experience working out in the community. So between our partners, the Hershey Company, Hershey Entertainment and Resorts, the MS Hershey Foundation, the Medical Center, as well as businesses that aren't part of the Hershey family, we're always looking for opportunities to give these kids some real life experience. Everybody knows that it's just as important to find something you don't want to do as it is to find something you do want to do. So if a kid has spent 3 or 4 years in a career track, they get out, get that real life education and realize, wow, that is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't want to go into that field. It's better to do it now than to do it after 4 years of college. So those are some of the dreams that I know they have now is, like I said, to get our kids better prepared. We've spent about 10 or 12 years with this career and technical education program, which is cutting edge. It's definitely a national leader in providing kids. They all graduate college prep, but they also graduate, like I said, with 3 to 4 years of learning in a specific trade or learning area. So we just want to get them ready and prepared to go out and be successful, contributing citizens in their community. We want every kid to leave with an excellent work ethic. I think there's few things that are more important for a person to have than a good work ethic, and our kids have that. The desire to give back. Our kids do a lot of philanthropy, a lot of volunteering. I think a lot of them realized maybe before they came to the school how many people between their volunteering and philanthropy and stuff probably had a positive impact on their lives. So they'd like to give that back. There you
go. Mike, what's the timeline on you opening the Hershey and Harrisburg early childhood education buildings?
Right. In 2023, the Hershey one should be open. They're going to start construction soon after of the one in Harrisburg, and that's scheduled to open in 2024. And I'm guessing we'll have one a year thereafter once we identify where those are going to be. So the first one will be open in 2023. You'll see them breaking ground here fairly soon. They've already have started some of the site prep over there. So yeah, 2023.
And where will the Harrisburg one be located?
They haven't released the exact location yet. They have identified it. They have purchased it. They're moving ahead, but at this point, they're not sharing that information quite yet.
Mike, what kind of interaction do our kids have with Hershey High and Lower Dolphin?
Well, with Hershey High, we have a great program in place. It's called the Hershey Community Youth Alliance, HCYA, Hershey Community Youth Alliance. It was actually started in 2009 I'll try to abbreviate the history of it, but in 2009, the school was celebrating its centennial. And Pete said, you know what, it'd be nice if we could show some collaboration with Hershey High, and they could maybe congratulate us on our 100th anniversary and we could start something. So we got the president and vice president of the freshman, sophomore, junior, senior class from both schools together in the homestead. That was before Pete lived there, when it was sort of a place you could hold meetings, et cetera. So we had those kids from both schools come together. Their task was to come up with one event to sort of mark the centennial of the school. What was amazing, and I said I was blessed, I got to facilitate and lead that this discussion. The kids weren't happy or satisfied with that. They said, okay, one event, yeah, we'll come up with a couple events here for the centennial, but why does this have to end? Why does this have to be a one-year program? So I'm happy to say we're about 12 years into the Hershey Community Youth Alliance. The kids get their funding through the cocoa bean game. So Hershey plays Milton Hershey every year in football, and the funds raised through that are then given to the Hershey Community Youth Alliance. And these kids collaborate and work together on donating those funds to local, national, and international projects that are community service oriented. Not only do they do that, the kids have exchange programs. So we'll take 40 kids, 10 from each grade, from Hershey High. They'll come over and spend a day with Milton Hershey kids. They'll be hosted for a day. Then we have 40 Milton Hershey kids that go over to Hershey High, and they get hosted by the same students that hosted them. They get to host them at Hershey High. So we do 2 of those exchanges a year. So we're exposing 80 kids to the students, the school, the life of the kids at the other school. Amazing. It's probably one of my favorite events of the year is to ride the bus back and forth, because when you ride the bus over and you see the kids meet for the first time, you're reading out the names and they're apprehensive and they're just a little nervous on meeting this new kid and then taking them around their school for the day. But every single time, the end of the second day, after they spent 2 days together and we're getting them at the bus and we're trying to get them back to the school, the kids are hugging, they're exchanging email information, they're exchanging addresses. They've made friends, and some of their friends are now friends of them, and it's just great to see these kids, and they develop relationships that go on beyond just this two-day program. They also do a collaborative talent show. So we've had it in Founders Hall, we've had it over at Hershey High in their auditorium. We get usually about 10 acts from each school. And the kids MC, they run, they coordinate, they select the acts, and they put on this wonderful talent show. About 3 to 4 years ago, they started working with the arts departments at both schools, and they collaboratively are now showing art. So they have an art exhibition about a half an hour before they go into the talent show. The last 2 years, it's been a little challenging. They've actually done virtual talent shows and art shows where the kids will do a selfie or a video of themselves doing their talent, and then the kids have put it all together. So we have had the talent and art shows done virtually, but everybody's anxious to get back to the real thing next year. So we've got this great program, like I said, and I think it has really opened the door or the eyes of kids at both schools. I think there's that misperception. I think there was about 20 years or so where there really was little or no interaction between the kids at the two schools. And now, it's great for our kids to be out in the community and maybe see somebody they know. It's great for the Hershey kids to realize, these Milton Hershey kids are just like us. They've got the same challenges, the same excitement, the same things that we do. In addition to the art show and the talent show and the student exchanges and raising money and giving money and doing community service projects, the kids also, where's I going? The kids also have a chance to meet at the Cocoa Beanery. So there's like a leadership team at each school for the program, and they have a chance on usually on a Sunday afternoon. The leaders will get together and start planning the events. So at the beginning of the year, they plan the year's events. Then leaders from each school are picked for those events. And then those kids have a chance to get together at the Cocoa Beanery, usually once or twice a month, just to see, are they on track? Where do they need help? And it's just a great program. So that's probably the most obvious sort of collaboration between the Hershey High kids and the Milton Hershey kids. When they had the telethons, or not the telethons, what do they call it? It's the four diamonds. When they had the thon, there we go. When they have the thon events, we would send kids over to theirs. Hershey would send kids over to our events. And like I said, both schools were raising hundreds of thousands of dollars to help kids at with the four diamonds fund. So a lot of folks don't realize there's a lot of great collaboration going on between the kids at Hershey and Milton Hershey, which I think, Bruce, you can attest, that probably wasn't the case when you were a student there.
The only collaboration was dating the Hershey High girls.
True, and that might have caused a little conflict. All right. Anybody else have any other questions or an area of the school? I'll just jump in here. So Founders Hall, a lot of folks are wondering, when's Founders Hall going to open? What's going on at Founders Hall? Why has there been so much construction going on there? And you talked about, Bruce, the impact of COVID. That's one place where COVID had a huge impact. So we've been renovating basically since about 2016, renovating pretty much every inch of Founders Hall, every office, every hallway, everything except pretty much the rotunda area has been renovated, updated. And we had to do that to make it ADA, it had to meet all the ADA guidelines and restrictions. But when the COVID hit, a lot of those, as you know, at Hershey or Hershey entities, and especially Milton Hershey, if you're going to do it, you do it right. So we had the top master craftsmen, whether it was the woodworking or the sound systems, whatever it might be, we had the top craftsmen. Well, when COVID hit, a lot of those older, more senior craftsmen and experts did not want to go into a work environment for health reasons. And then actually at the very beginning, even the state sort of shut down all the construction projects. So that put us behind schedule a little bit. But my guess is, or the plan right now is for Founders Hall to reopen in November of this year. We've got a visitor center that it's going to knock your socks off. The old visitor center was great. The new visitor center, it's still located up in the lounges of the rotunda and the heritage room and the different areas. But we've got 5 major exhibits that I think people, number one, they're going to learn a lot. They're going to be entertained. It's very visual, very interactive. It features a lot of our kids, features an area for alumni, sort of an area for call to action. It's going to be really an amazing place to visit when the visitor center opens. And once again, that's sort of geared toward November of this year. The first event held in the new auditorium, which you will not recognize. The old auditorium was gorgeous and fantastic. I think you'll be amazed, impressed, and you'll like the newly renovated auditorium just as much as the old one. The first event in there, of course, will be a chapel service, just like it was back in 1970 when it opened, because Founders Hall is not only a visitor center and auditorium, but it's the school's chapel. And we want to make sure that we continue that tradition of the first event being held in the auditorium will be a chapel service. So trying to think what else. Like I said, the auditorium and the new exhibits, the dining room. The dining room is gorgeous. If you go to, you can see down at the bottom, I think the screen's up, where it says mhskids.org. If you go into that mhskids.org and just sort of look around, you can see we have an area where it shows some of the new exhibits or little snippets and sneak peeks at the exhibits that are going to be in Founders Hall, as well as some sneak peek at the new auditorium. So if your curiosity is killing you and you want to find out, you know, what's he talking about with these new exhibits for the visitor center and the new auditorium, you can go on mhskids.org and get some more sort of sneak peeks at those. Also, that site is great if you want to dig into any of our different areas. If you're interested in our career technical education programming, if you're interested in the academic programs that we offer, if you're interested in seeing videos about kids that went into culinary arts, kids that went into construction, kids that went into collaborating with Hershey Entertainment Resorts on the new entrance to Hershey Park and everything else. Our kids were involved in helping develop menus, building gates, engineering and designing stuff. Every one of our 12 career technical areas teamed up with professionals at Hershey Entertainment Resorts that played a role in the renovations to Hershey, or the Hershey Park entrance, and that whole area over there. So there's just lots of great information. Like I said, we are extremely blessed to have great relationships with Hershey Entertainment Resorts, the Hershey Company, the Medical Center, the Foundation, and the Trust. We have a program called Project Fellowship, where over 120 of our almost 200 student homes are matched up with departments and employee groups at all the Hershey entities. We have sort of 4 major large group interactive activities that we schedule, but we have a contact at the school and a contact at the student home, and then at the outside organization, and they plan events throughout the year. It can be as simple as coming over for a holiday meal, going to a hockey game. HENR is great. They designate 10 hockey games throughout the year that those student homes, as well as their outside partners, get tickets to go, spend time together, build a memory at a Hershey Bears game. So there's a lot of interaction with the community outside of the school. I think, you know, Hershey's known as the chocolate bubble. Milton Hershey School has its own bubble. So anything we can do to get the kids outside of that bubble, whether it's the Hershey bubble or the Milton Hershey School bubble, I think is a great strategic thing that we need to keep doing. I see up here in chat, I don't know if there's a question there. Let me look here. Okay, you just said if you have a question, unmute yourself. So yeah, if anybody has any more questions.
Hey, Mike, Debbie again. Just hearing you talk about all of this, and from the Derry perspective, it seems to me like we may have a unique opportunity here to even connect as far afield as with Pakistan in terms of educating children. I don't know of any other place in the country that might have such an opportunity.
Well,
And I don't know what to do about that, or what to think about that, or what to dream about that, but I just want to put a bug out there.
I think a good first step might be to, you know, work with our teachers and maybe the international studies or somebody, and just set up at least those you know, everybody has Zoom meetings now, or they can get on conference calls and stuff. We've done that with kids in Ghana. That the Hershey Company led an activity where I think once a month we had classes that were teaming up with classes in Ghana. We've had our students doing these international travel opportunities, and they aren't just travel. They're doing community service. They're participating in international youth environmental conferences. They're going into Africa and planting cocoa and learning about the whole business, and you know, just learning what's happening at the ground level. So these international travels sound great, and they are, but there's more to it. It has to have some kind of community service or educational focus. For example, they planned on this one. I wish I could have gone on. Our culinary arts department coordinated a trip to Italy, where they went around and they were focusing on food. So how would you like to travel around Italy, learning from some of the best chefs and cooks, and you know, what their culture focuses on food and that type of thing. So there's a lot of fun and exciting stuff. But yeah, with as far as outreach, I think a good first step might be to at least get some type of interaction with our kids, and then if they can identify a project or a need that the kids could get behind, you know, that's an opportunity as well. That's not an area that I coordinate, but I'd be more than happy to get you in touch with the right people down the road.
It just seems like we have kind of feet in both worlds, that very few people get the opportunity to go to Pakistan or find out about it. And we're helping to educate children over there too. So there's an international studies department.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the teacher's name, but I can get you that information.
That'd be awesome. Well, at least we could try to open a door.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any more questions or comments?
Well done.
Yes.
As you can tell, I'm so blessed, and I love my job. I love the school, and I know how blessed I am. So when you present the opportunity for me to talk about the school, that was an easy one. Like I said, I've got a whole bunch of other videos I thought I'd go out and maybe show you, but I'm just going to encourage you, go to the mhskids.org, or if you want to learn more about the Catherine Hershey School, if you go to CHS, Catherine Hershey School, chslearn.org, you can learn about the philosophy, what the programming is, the timing. You can go really in depth on that. And then again, if you want to learn about various areas and see some great videos and learn more about the school, the mhskids.org is a great resource as well.
Hey, Mike, that was a great video you put on for us. That was enjoyable, and thank you for updating everything about the campus and about the school. This is exactly what we were looking for, and great questions, great comments from everybody, and appreciate that. And it's coming up to 10 o'clock. Any last questions or comments? If not, Mike, thank you very much, and thank everybody for participating.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Y'all take care.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks, Mike.